Hello everyone, I'm Eternal Flame, and today we're here to talk about some things that's been revealed in the most recent spoilers. At the time I'm recording this, it's only the spoilers. I have no idea if the chapter's actually fully translated yet on TCB or on OP scans. If it is, then yeah, they're working faster than usual, but yeah. In the most recent chapter in spoilers, it's been revealed basically and confirmed that Yuji has access to blood manipulation. So I'm here to talk about this, the impacts of that, as well as the new technique or ability that Yuji has utilized and shown against Sukuna that made Sukuna's entire body shake. So yeah, let's first get into this entire little thing of Yuji having access to blood manipulation. Now the reason that I say it's basically been confirmed that Yuji has blood manipulation is because of a specific few set of lines that were said in a conversation between Yuji and Kamo, where Yuji specifically thanks Kamo for teaching him well because Choso is not that good of a teacher. And while yes, this doesn't fully confirm that Yuji has access to blood manipulation, I want you to question something for yourself. What does Choso and Kamo both have access to that Choso would probably be bad at teaching someone who doesn't exactly have the same body physiology as him? However, Kamo could teach him pretty well because he's a similar body physiology. If you said blood manipulation, you're correct. And before somebody goes out and says, oh, Kamo and Yuji don't have a similar body physiology, Yuji is basically human but superhuman, like physically. And Yuji is closer to human than he is a death painting, so yeah. That, and it makes a lot of sense why Choso wouldn't be that good of a teacher at blood manipulation in comparison to someone like Kamo, who has been taught several times by several members of the clan, while Choso had to just directly figure out everything on his own. So while previously we were only working off the assumption that Yuji has blood manipulation after eating his brothers, because that's basically confirmed, but we didn't know what the effect of it was now, we now know Yuji has access to blood manipulation. Now whether it's because he did eat his brothers or not, it's not entirely made clear in this chapter. However, we do know that he has eaten them nonetheless, and it's more than likely blood manipulation is a result from them. I also think that this new ability that Yuji has shown off and utilized is in some way, shape, or form related to blood manipulation, or else I don't think they'd be bringing it up in the same conversation and chapter where Yuji actually manages to land a hit on Sukuna, and there's a shown to be a new ability with the focus being mainly on Yuji and making Sukuna's body shake. Now, I do want to focus just for a little bit on the fact that Yuji has learned blood manipulation and what that means before I go into what I think that ability is and my current explanation for what that ability is. So yeah. Now that we know Yuji has learned blood manipulation for a fact, I do want to list out what the techniques I think he knows, which one of them are for sure Flowing Red Scale. And the reason why I think he knows Flowing Red Scale for sure is because, well, Yuji's the hand-to-hand person. Like, this is basically like, let's give someone close to Toji's level physically a massive physical amp. And like, to put it into perspective of how massive of an amp Flowing Red Scale actually is, Yuji's normal hand-to-hand blows are able to do massive damage to Choso back in early Shibuya, but when Choso was using Flowing Blood Scale, he was able to go relative to Yuji, if not just directly equal to him in hand-to-hand combat. So now you're giving that type of buff to a much stronger Yuji Itadori, where Yuji's going to massively amplify himself even further with Flowing Red Scale. So you might be wondering, okay, if Yuji does have access to such a technique, why is Yuji not using it right now at the current moment? And that is because he is not a death painting womb and still has the drawbacks a normal human would have with using the technique. Because the way the technique functions is by increasing the user's body temperature, pulse rate, and the number of red blood cells. So there's a limited amount of time that the buff actually lasts for, and considering they're up against Sukuna, it might just straight up be better to wait until Sukuna's technique gets confiscated and then go full throttle all out with all of his physical blows being amplified by this massive technique, rather than just going immediately with this in while Sukuna still has his technique. Now, we might have access to Piercing Blood and Slicing Exorcism. That's a bit more up in the air. I just want to talk about why Flowing Red Scale is something he certainly has, and why it's going to be such a massive buff. And for people who might be wondering if Yuji is using it right now, no, he is not, because Flowing Red Scale has a noticeable mark that it forms, as shown with both Choso and Noritoshi Kamo. Anyway, let me just get into my theory on the new technique that Yuji has used. Now, I do want to note this before I actually start talking about this. Our information on this new ability that Yuji is using is extremely limited. Like, we legit just have a panel of Sukuna noticing after blocking it with 3 arms and having a question mark and exclamation mark, as well as a shake through Sukuna's body. So for all we know, this could be a technique, this could be a curse tool, that could be on his arm, etc. We don't really know much about it yet, so I'm going to do my best to speculate based on information we have over the past. If I end up being proven completely wrong, just remember we are literally going off one panel, so please be nice to me when it comes to this theory. Now, I do want to talk about this potential thing, that this is a curse tool, and the reason why I'm just going to dismiss it being a curse tool is because, while yes, it's fully possible that the thing on Yuji's arm is just a curse tool, that's by far and away the most boring answer. It's like, oh, this is the effect of the curse tool. Okay, that's all we have on it. So yes, it could possibly be a curse tool. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it because you don't want to hear about it being a curse tool. I don't want to hear about it being a curse tool. And there's just generally not much that comes from it being a curse tool. However, my current standing theory is that this is a combination of 3 separate of Yuji's current abilities, being blood manipulation, the fully mastered variant of the Divergent Fist, and the ability to attack the soul. Now I am going to go in order for what each of these techniques combined are going to do for this one singular technique, because there's a lot to talk about with this little thing. Which the first thing I'm going to talk about is the ability to directly attack the soul. I don't think this is a surprise for anybody, considering the fact that Yuji has been studying the soul book for a total of 1 month. Yuji's always had weird involvements with the soul. He should still know how to attack the soul, because Sukuna, while he left his body, and Sukuna was the reason he could attack the soul, it was more like Sukuna was the one who taught him how to attack the soul, and not like Sukuna was the one who allowed him to attack the soul, because by having 2 souls present in his body learned how to attack the soul and be able to see the soul subconsciously. Furthermore, on top of this, Sukuna had a question mark and exclamation mark. He was clearly surprised and questioning what just happened and what the effect was that Yuji just had on him. I think the ability to directly impact the soul is one of the only things that could actually get such a reaction from Sukuna, purely because of Sukuna's reaction to when Mahito touched the soul. Because when Mahito did touch his soul, that was one of the few times it actually seemed like Sukuna was pissed off. And like the only other times we know Sukuna is pissed off when he has to deal with someone's existence that he finds annoying, like Yorozu or Yuji Itadori. However, he seems like in specific pissed off at the fact Mahito touched his soul, because he very specifically says, don't do it again. That, and we also know whatever new soul ability Yuji has been trying to work on is very much hand-to-hand based, as we directly saw in Kusakabe and Yuji's sparring match, considering it did seem like the 2 of them were swapping souls, and they were directly sparring in hand-to-hand, so I do think it is hand-to-hand based, and it's infused into whatever this ability is. Now I'm going to talk about Divergent Fist and Blood Manipulation at the same time, because I do feel the need to talk about them at the same time. The reason why I think Divergent Fist is being involved in this is, so after Yuji lands his punch directly on Sukuna, Yuji's cursed energy stays inside of Sukuna and rapidly spreads throughout his body, with Yuji using Blood Manipulation in order to spread said cursed energy through his body, and then he has it activate, which causes this shake and rapid amount of damage all across Sukuna's soul in order to activate. This would be an incredibly powerful attack, because it would mean even blocked hits from Yuji Itadori are now able to attack Sukuna directly no matter where he hits, because it would just attack Sukuna's full body rather than the blocked part. Now, the reason that I think Blood Manipulation is being involved is so they can do internal damage rather than just external damage, with likely a binding vow being formed in this technique as well, to make it only specifically work when direct hand-to-hand combat is formed, rather than just launching his cursed energy out at people, which makes it even better. However, I don't really see it being a binding vow. It's just very interesting. As a note, I don't think it did too much damage to Sukuna, but I think that's where the shaking effect came from. So it could be a combination of all 3 of these abilities, where Yuji is using Blood Manipulation in order to move his cursed energy throughout someone's body, both doing internal and external damage, while also using his knowledge of souls to directly attack the soul, almost like beating Sukuna's soul out of Megumi. However, this entire theory is like only really based on past knowledge we have about all of Yuji's abilities, and nothing else has been revealed recently, and just like a little effect we have actually seen. We really do not know much at the current moment, but I did want to put my 2 cents in on my interpretation of what the ability currently is. However, I do want to see what you guys' thoughts are on this ability as well in the comment section down below. Do you guys think I'm right? Do you guys think I'm wrong? Do you guys have your own thoughts on what this ability could be? And while you're down there, be sure to subscribe if you like this series, because hey, we got a lot more on the channel. I'm gonna see y'all later. Hope y'all have a good day. Peace out. See y'all later. Bye.